If you'd like to learn how to use Moon Animator 2 to create a simple wave animation that you can play on an NPC or your own character, keep watching and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Welcome to Roblox Snippets. Okay, to install Moon Animator 2, just quickly for those of you who do not have it yet, come up to Plugins in a blank project, and I've already got it here. However, you can come over to Manage Plugins and left click on that, and then you'll see this plus button up here. If you go ahead and click there, you'll get this window come up like the toolbox, and in Marketplace go to the drop downs over here, and we're looking at plugins, and mine's already come up there. However, if you just type in Moon and search, then you should get it come up here, and you are after Moon Animator 2. That is what this video is for, the most current version. So if you look at any earlier versions and try to follow this, you may find things look different and may not work correctly. The current price when I'm making this video is now 1700 Robux, so it's getting a bit expensive. I didn't pay nearly that amount for it when I purchased it a while ago, so you should purchase it now before the price goes up again. Alright, so once you have taken the plunge to purchase, it will install. You can close these windows and it will install under plugins like this, and you'll have three different tools up the top here that you'll see. Moon Animator that will work with, Character Inserter, which is like inserting your own avatar into the workspace, and Easy World, which is a special tool that lets you animate weapons and tools with the NPCs that you're working with. Alright, so if you've got that all installed, then we are good to go and we can get an avatar in here. Now I'm going to use today just a standard avatar. So to get a rig into the workspace, come up to Avatar, and then you can come over to Rig Builder, and it'll come up with this. Now you can either choose your own avatar if you like to put it in. However, I'm going to choose Mesh Avatar 2016 and go ahead and click on this. Right, that will put a rig into the workspace for us, and we'll turn him around. I'll just hit F on my keyboard to focus in, and then using Command or Control R, I'll hit that a couple of times to rotate him around so he's facing us. Now we're not going to do anything special with this rig before we start animating, so we can come up to the top up here and we'll have a look at Moon Animator 2. So click on Plugins and we'll open up Moon Animator 2. Right, when you open it up, you'll get this opening screen here, and it'll show any files that you've made or working with over here. But we just want to click on the New Moon 2 file down the bottom here to get started. So go ahead and click on it, and you'll get a blank set of keyframes here that we can work with, but we don't have a rig in here yet. So before we do that, we'll come up to File and Save, and give this a name. Now we're going to make a simple wave animation. Okay, and you'll see the name pops up the top here. And now what we're going to do is add the rig from the Explorer window over here into Moon Animator 2. So to do that, you'll see this plus sign up here. Left click on that plus sign and it'll bring up the Add Item window. And then you can come over either in the Explorer window or in the workspace. You'll see just on top of his head there, and click on him, and it will import the rig into Moon Animator 2. So if you see this, you can click on OK, and we're ready to get started animating in a moment. Now I'll just make a little bit of room. We'll get rid of our output window here, and we'll also get rid of our Explorer and Properties windows, and I'll bring this up to the top right. I tend to find seems to work pretty well. Let's now have a look at how to create an animation. So an animation is put together with keyframes, and basically a keyframe is created whenever you move a part on your rig over here in this screen. So initially we're going to start the animation with him standing as he is here. So we don't want to change that to start with. We want to move over to 30, and now if you click on 30 and it says 29 and you want it exactly on 30, you can just left click and drag the scrubber up the top there until it sits directly above the number that you want to have it above. And we'll create our first keyframe here. Now to create a keyframe, you select a body part. In this case we're going to click on the right upper arm, and you'll notice that we get a rotate tool that appears. Alright, and we will rotate in a moment. You can, however, switch to the position tool or move tool by hitting R on your keyboard. And you'll notice though, if you move the upper arm, you move the entire arm away from the body. Alright, and you may not want that to happen. So if you get to this situation where you want to undo something, use Command or Control Z and it will undo your last action. So that is a very handy thing to use. If we click on our right upper arm now and we hit R again to come back to our rotate, if we're going to move his arm up in front of him here, ready to wave. So as you can see, if we grab the red handle, we are rotating his arm up towards his face. Alright, so somewhere around about his chin, I guess, is about a good spot. And over here you'll notice that we have a little round circle, and that is a keyframe that has been created to represent the movement of this arm. Once we get to this position, now we want to turn his hand around so that it is facing down towards the ground. So left click on his right hand and you'll see we've got to rotate again. Grab the green one this time and then rotate around so that his hand is facing down towards the ground, and we have another keyframe. Now we've moved once to rotate this way, but now we're going to move his hand backwards. So grab the blue handle and just move his hand up like you're waving to someone, like this. Okay, and that's all captured within this keyframe here. So that's the first keyframe. Now if you want to see that play, you can hit spacebar on your keyboard. Right, if you click off, you'll see it without the handles, and that's our first keyframe. So it's moving from the standard spot over here to the one that the position or the pose that we just created there. All right, if you want to see it looped, there's two ways to do that. You can either hit Tab on your keyboard to toggle looping on or off, or this little button next to the plus here, it's got a line through it showing it's not looped. If you want to loop it, left click on it once and the cross will disappear, and then when you play it will loop over and over and over again. Okay, so once you've got had a little bit of a play with that, we can come over to the 60 now. So move your scrubber over to the 60, and I'll just move mine so that it's sitting just on top of 60 like that. And now we're going to move his arm, right upper arm again. So we'll click on that, and we're going to move it over to the right a little bit, and then move up to the 90, and I'll just get that right on 90. There we go. And we'll grab the same blue one and move it back sort of just in front of his face, like so. And let's play our animation. So we've got a simple wave that's going on here. All right. Now it's not the perfect thing at the moment, but you can certainly play around and improve things. So to change the settings in your animation, you can hit 8 on your keyboard, and that will bring up this animation settings screen. It has the name up here and how long your animation is. So if we want to make this, at the moment it's 5 seconds and we don't need it that long, so let's make it just 1. We'll just put 1 in there and hit enter, and you'll see that it is now zoomed in a little bit. And to make this a little bit quicker, then we can actually move these keyframes by left clicking on the one that you want to move and left click and hold and move it over to the next line over. So let's say we move this one back to 70, and let's have a look and see how that looks. Alright, so once again you can play around with this until you get it right, but for now we're going to bring up the settings screen once again by hitting 8 on your keyboard, and we'll change the priority down here, and we'll just leave it as action. Idle is sort of just a repetitive over and over again sort of thing, but we'll just leave this as action, and we'll leave looping off for the time being, and we'll see if we can get it to loop when we use a script. So if you've got action here, click on OK, and we're ready to export our animation. So before we do that, just click on File and Save, and we're going to bring up our Explorer and Properties windows. So at the moment inside of your rig you don't have any animations, when we do this, so come over and click on File and then come down to Export Rigs, you should see Animation Saves pops up as a model with this keyframe sequence underneath it, and we're going to save this to Roblox now. So once you see that, right click on it and come down to Save to Roblox, and a window should open up like so. Now you can give it a title and a description if you wish. When you're satisfied with what you've got there, click on Submit and you'll have this window come up. Now this gives us our ID and we're going to copy that. So these little boxes next to it, if you left click there, you'll see ID copied, and you can go ahead and close the window then. And we're going to add this into our rig. Now just before we do that, we can close Moon Animator 2 by clicking on the X, then come over to the rig and click on the plus, and in the search box start typing animation, and you'll have this object pop up here. It looks like a little light bulb. Left click on that and it will be added to the rig. You'll have to scroll down to the bottom. If you click on it and then look in the properties, you'll see that it has an animation ID with an empty box. Click in the empty box and then Command or Control V to paste the ID in that we just created and hit enter. And we'll change the name of the object up here to be My Wave Animation, so that we can refer to it in our script. Scroll back up to the top of your rig and I'll show you how to now animate this rig when we play by using a script. So click on the rig itself and then click on the plus. Come down and choose a script. And we'll call this our animate rig script. Now, because I said we were going to loop this, there's a bit of a glitch in Roblox Studio at the moment, and the looping doesn't work sometimes, but I've worked a solution out for it. So if you click on the script itself and then come down to the properties, you'll find this Run Context box with Legacy. Left click on that and it's a drop down, and I'd like you to change this to Client. So what this effectively does is it runs this script on the server, but it makes it act like a client script. So it's quite a handy thing to do. If you've done that, come over and we'll write a couple of lines of code now to get our animation. So the first one is local, and we'll say this is my wave animation, so wave anim, and it will be script.parent.myWaveAnimation. So that's the object with the ID in it. Then we need our humanoid, so local humanoid equals script.parent.humanoid. We'll create an animation track now, so local anim track, and we're going to load the wave animation onto the humanoid. So we type humanoid and then a colon, load animation, and pass in the animation object. And then to get it to play, we say animation track with a colon after it and type play with a capital P. Now if you want it to loop, you can say animtrack.looped equals and set it to true. And that should be enough to get this to work for us. So I'll bring up the output window down here so that we can see if we have any errors, and click on File and Save, and then we'll play. Right, and I'm all loaded in, and as you can see we have our NPC waving at us saying well done on using Moon Animator 2. Alright, so that's a simple animation, and should have shown you some of the basics of Moon Animator 2. I'll be making another 3 videos about Moon Animator 2, so keep watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you found this video useful, subscribe now. For more information about my online courses, go to mrbrendanross.com.